Princeton University professor and CNN political analyst Julian Zelizer joins me now from New York. Julian, great to have you on. Thank you. Let's talk about these derailed immigration negotiations to start off with, namely DACA. This is something that the president himself has tweeted on just in the last hour or so. I just want to read out that tweet for our viewers and for you as well. President Trump has said, "I don't believe the Democrats really want to see a deal on DACA. They are all talk and no action. This is the time, but day by day, they are blowing the one great opportunity they have. Too bad." Julian, I put it to you that so much for bipartisanship. Do you get the impression that Donald Trump knows that he's going to lose on this one, that he's not going to get the border wall that he wants so desperately, and so he's calling out the Democrats before this all blows up?
Well, that's certainly the feeling the tweet conveys. Two things have happened since the original news there might be a deal. One, the House Republicans said no way, and they requested measures on border security, which are much more than Democrats will concede to. And obviously, his comments about African nations just blew up any notion that he's still not very hard line in his ideas about immigration. So right now, Democrats are going to be very reluctant to make any kind of deal other than a clean legislative solution to the DACA problem. And he realizes that. So blame the Democrats before they can blame him.
Everyone at the moment, of course, talking about the vulgar comments that allegedly President Trump said. Even his predecessor, President Obama, Barack Obama, seems to be hinting towards making a comment on that as well. This is what President Obama had to say on the Letterman show, I believe. Let's just take a listen.
One of the things that Michelle figured out in some ways faster than I did was, part of your ability to lead the country doesn't have to do with legislation. It doesn't have to do with regulations. It has to do with shaping attitudes, shaping culture, increasing awareness.
So Obama, they're talking about the importance of playing president rather than playing politics and playing policy. Do you think that Trump's vulgarity has signaled kind of a crisis then in the moral conscience of all America?
Yeah, I think this is more than using vulgarity. It's using a particular kind of vulgarity, and it's in the context of a president who now has a long record of making statements connected to nativism, racism, xenophobia, and more. And this goes back to the campaign, and it goes back even further in his career, where he's always made explosive comments about race. And so it's not simply that the president uses bad language. It's the context of what this language means for this president. And I do think there is a moral crisis when this becomes a legitimate form of discourse for the president of the United States in a meeting with legislators or on Twitter. The nation has a problem.
And that's obviously a problem for America domestically, but from a foreign point of view as well, how big an impact can language, bad language, have on foreign relations? Can you still do deals when diplomacy is effectively dead?
Well, you could still do deals. Countries still operate according to their interests often. And if you put something on the table that they want, they might turn a blind eye to some of what he says. But it is a problem, and it does become a barrier. Words really matter, both in domestic and foreign policy. And other nations, other leaders are listening. And there's less trust, there's less goodwill for a president who's willing to use this kind of invective with some of the most powerful members of the American political system. And so there is no way to look at this and imagine that somehow U.S. and its role in the world improves as a result of what we've seen this week and over the last year.
And what we might see in the week to come as well. Julian Zelizer, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.